No! Fucking glitch! Hello, and welcome to the re-recording of the second episode of the Puff Puff Hour.
You probably didn't need to mention that it was a re-recording.
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, we can't just
Because
not
it's
say
gonna-
something. It's going to be inconsistent.
Exactly.
I
This
guess.
is being re-recorded after episode 3. All
Yeah,
right,
we had
so
some issues happen for our second episode.
we will definitely get into the nightmare story, but I'm your host, Jacob Wright.
I'm Caleb Craig.
And I'm Dylan.
It is Caleb Craig Mencia. Craig.
Craig Mencia?
Yes.
Is that my middle name now?
That is your official nickname. Anyway, so do I start with the nightmare story, or do you guys want to?
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it if you want to talk about it.
Alrighty then. Okay, so this is a couple months back now. This is really late. We recorded Dragon Quest II review. Thought everything was perfectly fine. It looked like it was there. The file was there. Space was being taken up. I go to mix it. Dead silence.
Yeah,
There was
apparently we had recorded a podcast from Mimes, so...
pretty much. I don't understand how it happened. I talked to Joe with the device, and he said sometimes things happen. There was no solution.
We ranted way too hard.
Yep.
That's what I would say.
It was scorching fire and flames. Caleb Craig is so sexy that it completely destroyed the file. It's exactly what happened. Those poofs are amazing. All right. So here we are re-recording this episode. So if there's not enough flair in our anger for Dragon Quest II, we apologize, but
It's been watered down,
Yeah, for sure.
especially since we've been playing 3, which is a better game.
oh, by far. But then it should trigger some post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, it's spoilers there, Craig.
I know.
Barely.
Barely. All right. So I think we should get into development.
All right.
All right. So
Go ahead.
development, like many of the games in the series, Yuji Horii wrote the story, Akira Toriyama did the artwork, and Koichi Sugiyama composed the music. Co-creator Koichi Nakamura, Chunsoft's president, directed the game and did half of the programming.
Well,
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a lot of work for one dude.
It just sounds just like the Gooch, Sega Gucci, because he used to do
pretty much
nearly
everything.
Pretty much
Well,
everything.
they only had like 7 people or something for the team for Final Fantasy 1.
I believe so. It was like 7.
Like a handful of people. It's sick.
Yeah, so it seems to be on par with early like NES and RPG titles. Is very small teams working on them,
Yeah.
and it probably makes a better RPG. But that's my opinion. Planning for Dragon Quest II began in April 1986, a month before the release of the original Dragon Quest.
Wait, a month before the release?
Yeah, a month before the release.
Wow. They were pretty sure that Dragon Quest was going to sell then, huh?
Yeah. They seem to have quite a bit of rollout. And when the rollout didn't happen, what happened, right?
Yeah, I
they
remember
throw it
with
in
the,
Nintendo Power to make sure the cells get generated.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad story for such a great game.
Well, most
2 or 1?
For one.
right.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that.
Most game companies like to do that now. And I don't. I don't like that practice at all.
You don't like
Because the
giving away
game
free,
could be
free
utter
games?
Utter shit. No. I don't like that they start development on multiple titles of a game.
Oh, okay.
beforehand.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I thought you meant like putting it in Nintendo Power. I was like,
Oh no, that's phenomenal. Props to anybody who got that thing at a cheaper price at the time.
Yeah.
With that full 80-page guide. Jeez, that's awesome. No, props to them. What was okay, let's see here. With the system and memory map decided, they They started development in early July. The development team was divided into two groups, one with designing the story as well as the monsters and one doing the programming. The game was released on January 26, 1987, still before Final Fantasy.
I know, they had 2 games before Final Fantasy. It's kind of sad.
Yep. So what do you guys think of the two groups?
For 2 groups for the first game and the second game, or what?
No, the two groups that were working on Dragon Quest 2. One end was doing this, one was doing that. It didn't seem like they were conjoining together.
Talking to each other?
Well, they could have been talking, but it's kind of good if it's all under the same umbrella. But this doesn't seem like it was.
I don't know. Like, it seems like a bad thing, especially since, like, we'll probably get into it a little later, but all the I had this slight complaint for the first game where, like, there were quite a few monsters that, like, looked the same, or just, like, recolored.
Oh yeah, that carried over for sure.
But yeah, this one was way worse for that.
Yeah,
way worse. Like, there's even, I think we counted last time, there's like 6 or 7 monsters that basically had the robes and the bat symbol, like, sitting in the middle of their chest.
yeah.
Like, just the same design for like 6 different monsters, and it wasn't even a recolor. It was just like the same thing. It's kind of, I don't know, that kind of speaks to me now that,
Right.
Now you mentioned that they're like, they're going to be separate here.
Right. All right, that's for design, but just teasing. The developers believed that Dragon Quest 1v1 combat system was tedious and too simple, and that the leveling system was boring. So they decided to have Dragon Quest 2 use a party system with players controlling multiple characters. In another,
It's a good decision,
yeah,
but wrong
maybe.
about the first game.
right. In another game from the time entitled Wizardry, again, we're bringing that up again, players can control a party of up to 6 characters directly. Nakamura saw this, liked the idea, and wanted to do something similar.
So it made 3 characters.
Like, oh, I'm going to take each part of Wizardry here and put it into each game. Like, oh, I like this, let's do it in Dragon Quest 1. Oh, I like this, let's do it in Dragon Quest 2.
Oh, Wizardry is a huge influence, so
Exactly, yeah.
I could see that.
So why not? Due to technical restrictions, they decided to use only 3 characters. Hori believed many players would play Dragon Quest 2 without first playing Dragon Quest.
Even though they made it a sequel, sort of.
It is.
That would be unfortunate for those people.
Well, we'll get into that in this story, but it really doesn't matter that much. Like, there's
that's true,
Kinda
but
does.
a
Like,
small
they are
nostalgia
connected.
event, but
yeah, some stuff carries over.
it's not nothing that you wouldn't, like, miss out, per se.
Story-wise,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Right. All right. Dragon Quest 2 without playing Dragon Quest 1, and thus had players search for the other party members. Nakamura has stated that the Cave of Roan found in the game is inspired by the classic track to exit mazes that always move forward while sticking to the right-hand side wall to avoid the fucking traps.
That's true. I always did that.
Screw that cave.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
God, no! I want to get it out right now. Those traps to fall to the entire bottom. All right. In the story group, monsters were the first thing designed. The monsters' names, skills, and personalities were decided first, after which they were drawn by Toriyama. Hori allowed Toriyama to paint full drawings rather than direct create the pixel art that would be shown in the game. Which is cool, but I don't see it applying to the game. That's weird. Unless we have it on, like, box artwork, which I don't think we end up getting localized here anyway.
No, we have completely different artwork that looks nothing like the game.
Right, so if that kind of stuff shows up in the booklet or on the cover of the game, cool. But it's still kind of a game, so to have him go these huge art things is cool to me, but it doesn't get to show itself in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And it doesn't take till, like, later on in video game history to be able to showcase that a lot more.
Yeah, but they release side stuff like guides and whatnot that can use the artwork.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we have art books for now.
Well,
But
yeah,
back
that's
then-
usually part of it.
The artwork was then converted into computer graphics. As Toriyama was unfamiliar with computer graphics technology, no shit, he's a... like, of course he isn't. He's an artist, man.
He's a manga artist.
Respect the art form. Other staff took charge of this. Many new monsters needed to be designed to make the game feel real.
Real.
Yes.
New monsters?
Yeah. I know.
I honestly don't know if that's Toriyama's fault or the people who made the characters beforehand. It's he draws the characters, but then there's the creatures, but then they also say what they want it to look like, sort of.
And he also said they had to make more monsters, so maybe they had to fill in the gaps
More
there.
than half of the monsters are the same. There are some new monsters, but a lot of them are the same monster just 3 times.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He did say that the process was laborious, but he has also said that compared to the manga comics he was used to, he enjoyed painting more. So on balance, the experience was quite positive. He said that it was able to showcase a lot more detail in the artwork because it didn't have to be drawn again and again and again.
Yeah, I remember him saying that, yeah.
Yeah. Hori stated that for his process, like other manga and film creators, he quickly outlines the story's plot in his mind. With regard to map design, a blank map was used to create the physical shape of the place, like a castle, cave, or tower, and then the key elements and story were created together afterwards. The scenarios were mainly written by his friend Horishi Miyoka. Don't know who that is.
He's the guy who wrote the scenarios.
I guess so. Yeah. Good insight there.
Yeah.
Koichi
what he's here
Nakamura
That's right.
programmed with several students, but since it was his first time working with a team, he didn't know how to delegate work or communicate his goals, which shows in the final product.
Yeah.
Since his students were unfamiliar with the coding process, they did not know how to debug or keep track of whose code it came from. So Nakamura had to do it himself, which caused delays.
Oh.
In programming, they did the maps first. Then they worked on characters, including numbered characters and maps for assigned lines, and designed the NPC's moving route. The next step was programming the items, while the final step was setting the monsters' data and converting Toriyama's artwork. That seems like one of the first things you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Is the artwork, but okay. Due to the aforementioned balance issues, the game was initially very difficult, especially in the later stages. Complaints there. That's true.
Yeah.
Nakamura had written a program that simulated every single combat that he used to adjust the game's setting for characters leveling and the strength of enemies players would encounter. This program failed to account for larger monster groups.
Oh, yeah, you mean the thing that happens constantly?
Yeah. What was this nightmare experience that you had, Craig? Like getting your ass kicked by 5 slimes?
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
you
yeah.
freaking walk one step outside of the castle at the beginning and you encounter 5 slimes. And because your health is so low, they can kill you because they do 5 damage a turn, and if you don't kill them instantly, with one hit, then you just get taken down. Because you only have 15 health in the beginning, so 3 turns go by and you're dead. You're just dead.
Yeah, that's pretty weak, Craig.
I could handle it when it was lower groups, but then you start getting the crow dudes and stuff too. It's not okay.
The crow dudes, I'll admit, were difficult, but not the slimes. Those are the weakest characters in the game. The weakest enemies.
Yeah, they're the weakest enemies, but you get 5 of them when you're level 1, literally with no equipment. I mean, you're gonna get boned.
The RNG.
Yeah, it's great. Fantastic, even.
Tremendous. The developers realized there was a balance problem and did some modifications. Just some. They didn't fix it. They just patched it, right? such as limiting the number of enemies at Meadenhall to groups of 3 and moving the Connaught Castle closer to Meadenhall Castle. Did you only have 3, Dylan?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I feel like there were more than 3.
Okay. We forgot to discuss this. What version did each of us play?
I played the mobile version on Google Play.
Mobile as well.
And I suffered through the NES version.
OG.
The
Okay.
NES? Oh, yeah, you did. That's right.
Yeah, I did.
You decided to switch to the Game Boy one for the
3.
next one.
Yeah. I don't regret that decision.
It's probably the best decision you could have made outside of like switching to mobile.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Due to a lack of cartridge space, many ideas were abandoned during development, such as an alternate ending. Oh, spoilers already.
Oh, man.
That the Larissa prince is killed by the Prince of Connacht's sister if he dies in the final battle. Some elements were later used in remakes or sequels. A subplot about the Prince of Connacht being cursed was added to the Super Famicom remake and later remakes. So probably the Game Boy version has it.
Yeah, I didn't play that one, though.
Yeah.
So I missed that.
Yeah.
It's all right.
happens.
We
It's
didn't
not
really
like an
need it.
entirely different game.
Yeah.
It's extra content.
Yep. The game's cartridge ROM capacity is 1 megabyte, but only about 10 bytes of free space remained in the final product. I don't know if that's really good or bad compression. I don't know. But
Who knows?
it seems like a lot of stuff just for an NES game. So I'll give it that.
There
quite
was a
bit.
lot.
I've seen it on NES.
There's a few good things about the game.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Just a few. The North American release of the game is Dragon Warrior 2, was created by Enix themselves and published in '90. The storyline Introduction in Monbrook is presented exclusively in Dragon Warrior 2. We get exclusive, wow. In the Japanese original, the game starts right off with the injured soldier from Monbrook. Monbrook, geez, it's Moonbrook, Jacob. Entering Meadenhall Castle, seeking help from its king. Like Dragon Warrior, the American version of Dragon Warrior 2 was censored in some aspects. For example, it used a ghost-like sprite instead of the original defeated character's coffin with a cross.
Wow. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know why they did that, because they also censored like Final Fantasy with that stuff.
Yeah, the crosses
like
are
the
completely...
churches. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think it is either. But
It's the Evan... It's the... I can't even say this right now. The Evangelials. They're like these groups. Like, no crosses.
Yeah, they protest the game.
Dude, they do.
They do.
Freaking
Yeah.
Pokemon came under fire because of evolution.
did.
Westminster's Baptist Church.
Yeah,
Yes,
dude.
those people.
So
Those
stupid.
horrible
Stupid.
people. So I like that we get a little bit different here because it makes a lot more sense into what's going on at the beginning. Instead of just being dropped off in front of the king again, we actually realize that stuff is
Something is happening.
under turmoil. So that is a pretty interesting development. I think it's shaky.
Shaky at best.
Shaky at best.
It sounds like they took a class to like make this game. Like with the students that they used, it sounds like it was a class.
Yeah, it was like Chunsoft saying, "Hey, look, you guys want some credit? Here's some free labor.
Yeah.
Let's do this."
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't use that same tactic for the first game because I don't know how that would have worked out.
There probably wouldn't be a legacy.
No, there probably wouldn't be. And Final Fantasy would probably be a little different because they took a lot from Dragon Quest.
Right. So, do we move on to plot?
Yeah, let's move on to plot. The very little that there is. All right, so Dragon Quest II is set 100 years after Dragon Quest I. The story begins with an attack upon Moonbrook Castle by the wizard Hargan, who seeks to summon the demon Malroth to destroy the world.
Malroth.
Very common plot
Yeah.
in the Dragon Quest series.
But that name is metal as fuck.
Malroth?
Malroth just sounds metal.
Dude, yeah, it's pretty metal. All right, so a wounded soldier escapes the battle and fled to the kingdom of Middenhall, where he informs the king of the attack before he dies. The king then commands his son, who is a descendant of Erdrick or Lodo, depending on where you are, to defeat Hargan. And the prince begins his quest alone, but is later joined by his two cousins, the Prince of Cannock and the Princess of Moonbrook. After finding the Prince of Cannock, who began a similar journey at the same time as the Prince of Middenhall, they save the Princess of Moonbrook from Hargan's assault on Moonbrook Castle, which is then reduced to ruins. As the trio continues the quest to find and defeat Hargan, they secure a ship and that allows them to travel across the oceans to reach new continents, including Elfgard, which is where the original Dragon Quest took place. I thought that was a really cool aspect.
That is one of my favorite parts of the game, actually.
Is the actual going on the ship and finding the original area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot, too. There they meet the grandson of the Dragon Lord, from the villain from the previous game, who gives the party valuable information. He tells them that by collecting the 5 crests hidden around the world, the party can create the Charm of Rubis, allowing them to defeat Hargan and his illusions. After obtaining the Charm of Rubis, the party travels to Hargan's castle in the ice-covered plateau of Roan and confronts
Tremendous
Hargan
area.
in his throne room.
Yeah, that was great design.
Hargan is defeated,
God.
but he offers himself to Malroth, which is something, and the demon emerges and destroys the heroes. Together, the 3 heroes slay Malroth and return to Middenhall, where the prince is named the new king.
Wow. All I have to say is hips.
That is the plot right there.
It's
great.
It's a bigger plot than some games.
It's more of a plot than the first game, but
Clearly.
Yeah.
But is it better?
No.
Nope.
I don't think so. Even with going back to the original area, there's not. I don't know. I enjoyed the simplicity that the first game had over this one, where it was trying to be a little more complex, but it just wasn't well thought through.
No, it's rushed.
It could have been. I mean, the plot in itself is pretty simple still, but it wasn't. I don't know. I guess it's the gameplay that really screws it over. In a way, because the gameplay, they had to build more around the gameplay of having to go and level up and find other areas, and the areas aren't that great, so I don't know.
So the grind is a little bit too much.
Oh yeah,
amongst
especially
spread
in this
places.
game. In this game, the first game, you didn't have to be the max level, and the max level was only 30. In this game, you have to be the max level, otherwise you get destroyed.
Yeah, I called the first game a grind fest, but I was so wrong. I didn't know what was coming.
And then you were immediately hit with the grind fest.
Oh yeah, right from the start, with the slimes and the crows.
Yeah.
But especially the slimes for Craig.
Yeah, especially the slimes. Fuck the slimes.
Yeah, I like the aspect where you go back to the original area, but it also seems really lazy.
Yeah, especially with the Dragon Lord's grandson.
Yeah, it's
there.
half the game.
And then he's
too.
Not the bad guy.
Half the game.
It feels like half the game.
It also feels like it's setting up for a sequel to this game, but it's the last one. Because the Dragon Quest, the next one is the prequel to the first game.
Chill.
We could talk about that. People know. They make the games in trilogies.
Not a lot of people know that.
Well, no, they do.
And people are still trying to draw connections between 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that one's a little unclear for me as well.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. I do have one little nitpick about that story.
Oh?
Yes. Bossception. All right. You go through most of the game thinking it's this bad guy, right? And then you get thrown in near the end. Oh, this guy summoned.
Malroth?
Kill him. Yeah, Malroth.
Well, the
plot
boss
on
switch?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he kind of implies that
doesn't-
he's going to summon a greater power.
There was a subtle reference somewhere in there,
It's
Yeah.
small.
but it's like
It's
once.
still there, though.
Well, it
Yeah.
doesn't come out of left field like Necron with FF9, but there still isn't enough there for me to like it.
Well,
It comes
it's-
out of nowhere. It's
It's not really out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere like it was in Final Fantasy IV with like Zeromus, where he's like incepting Golbez, who's incepting Kane. Like that's
a dream. within a dream.
real bossception right there.
Is the top spinning or is it not? Dun 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 dun. No, but I still don't like it.
Oh, I don't
I-
either. I mean,
yeah, so
they had a lot of stuff they could have done, especially if the Dragon Lord's grandson was in there. Then he totally could have been the bad guy.
Yeah, I feel like that was a loose end.
Especially since, like, I don't know. It seems like he's trying to have somebody destroy the greater threat to him.
Yeah.
Which is what it seems like he's doing, and then he could have been the bad guy.
Yeah, that
But-
would have been cool, but
And that would have made a little more sense that they set that up, but they did nothing with it other than like they go to him and he gives them information.
Yeah, that would have been a lot
Yeah.
more cooler to flesh that out more.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was going to be more to it.
Yeah, like you go to the guy whose grandfather was slain by your ancestor like 100 years ago, and he's just gonna be fine with it.
Yeah, he's like,
he's gonna
"Yeah,
help you along your quest.
we're good.
I
It was
mean,
a
But if
different
the guy
time.
has some charm.
it makes
That's-
total sense.
It's the throne's way of thinking, though, right? You know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If I could go get Lodo's descendant to go take out Malroth, I could regain power as the Dragon Queen.
That's what makes sense, but it doesn't set that up.
Oh, hell no, it doesn't. But I'm just trying to think of scenarios here which would make it a lot more cooler. But, all right, last story note here. The princess is a fucking dog.
Yeah. And your problem
That-
with that is
It honestly took me about 15 minutes to guess that and figure it out.
I like the dog more.
you want
That
the
would've been
dog
cool.
It's a lot more helpful.
Yeah, it would have been more helpful in the quest, I think.
Yeah, she's...
to have an actual dog.
Yeah, to have an actual dog that can do something. Because the
No.
princess doesn't do anything.
She's magic.
Yeah, but it's so weak.
Still, though.
That's the
It's
problem
weak
I had
sauce.
with that character. Like,
Oh,
she
I
was
know
too
it's
weak.
weak sauce, but still.
She was a liability on the team.
Yeah, still.
She was the
Then
first
just leave
to
her
die.
dead. Just
She
leave
was-
her dead.
I had to a couple times because like she had run out of things to heal me with, so she became useless. So she was left dead until
Yeah.
I could restore her.
The
magic
sad thing
points.
about the game is that you need to have her alive to heal you.
I know it's brutal,
And she's just awful. She's an awful character. She doesn't do much but heal you. That's all she's there for.
that is entirely what she's there for because the other two dudes have to do the damage,
Right.
and one guy does significantly less damage than the main guy.
Yeah.
We are officially in a gameplay review now. It's the
Yeah.
gameplay section. All right. So keep talking about gameplay.
Well, gameplay is, well, I don't know, dude. They made the wrong decision where they said that the first game wasn't great. So they changed the leveling up style and everything. I really liked the way that the first game leveled up. Like when you leveled
The
up,
randomness?
it was a little. I mean, I guess it had to do with like whatever name you picked, but like whenever you leveled up, you would gain a lot more skill points than you do in 2. So
Yeah.
the levels meant twice as much, and there were only like 30 levels, and it was like a lot easier to get to those higher levels.
So you don't
And
respect the grind?
I respected the grind. There was a few like places where you could easily go to and grind in the first game, and I didn't feel like that was as easily accessible in this game.
It's such a longer game that they've had to scale down each level. And I don't know why they did it. Maybe to make the game last longer so that it was, more worth to the game when they sell it.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think.
But yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I didn't like that aspect of it at all, like the leveling. And because you had like 3 characters now, they could have left it the same. They didn't need to have like 1,000 levels or whatever. Like what did they double it for this game from the first one? Is the level cap like 60? I can't remember.
I don't know what the cap was. I was up there pretty high though, probably in the 50s.
Yeah, I was up in the 50s as well, but like I don't know, dude. It just like I had to get up there in order to make any significant difference. Because like I got the best weapons, or like some of the best weapons that I could anyway, and I just it helped, but the levels did not do much for me. Like that's I don't know how else to say it other than it sucked. Like it was way more grindy because you had to level up more because the levels meant less. And that it's not
Agreed.
great for a game that would be short anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It probably would have been a much better game despite its story issues had that been the case. Like it had been easier to level up and they were worth more like the first game. Nah, I don't know. But there was also like the usable items and weapons. I loved this aspect. Like there's some items or weapons that you can get that you can actually use as items. Like for instance, there was one sword that casts like a huge thunderbolt type attack on enemies, and it was so powerful, and I loved it. It's like one of the coolest aspects I've ever seen in an old school RPG that like I don't think they've really kept for many other games that they totally should. I don't know. I really thought that was great. What about you guys?
I agree. I like that. I utilized that a lot. What was the name of that lightning sword, right?
I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, it was something like that. It was you could only get it from one specific monster too. You had to like kill him and get it to drop.
But you can spawn it.
Yeah, you can get multiple, but you can only really use it for the 2 main characters, or for the 2 princes anyway.
You only need 2
princess
though, right?
can't use it, which sucks because then she would become useful.
Well, then the game would just be a cakewalk.
Yeah, I missed out on that item.
It would have been useful. Like she could have been something instead of the garbage that she is.
I missed that item. And
that's unfortunate.
We'll
for you.
talk about that in design, I think.
Oh yeah. So, how are our thoughts on the expanded party and the expanded map in this game? Because
I really do like the map. I didn't have any issues with like the map stuff. I do like that he organizes the areas according to like where the bridges are. I think that's kind of a unique idea to like have certain levels be around certain areas in that way.
Right.
They kind of do it in Pokemon, but they don't have like the obvious bridge to like tell you when there's going to be like a level jump.
Right.
And I think that's really cool, like especially in an older game where they couldn't, like just make it random or whatever, but they had like in certain sections they'd be like higher level depending on where the bridge is. I thought that was really cool. I liked the you could like sail across the ocean and go to the old place that you were at before, like Aelfgard or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool too. Like it's like I keep bringing up Pokemon again, but reminded me of when you go back to Kanto in Pokemon Gold and Silver. And that's like the greatest aspect of that game is that you can go back to
and get the other 8 badges.
Yeah, you can get the other 8 badges. There's like more gameplay for that, and it's but for this game, there's too much gameplay. And I think that's a weird statement, but it's the truth. Like it's too much grind, too much gameplay. It did not serve the game well.
It has little payoff too with the grinding.
Very little payoff. Like the only payoff is beating that sick boss, and that's a very small pleasure.
That's for sure.
There isn't a good balance to the story and the gameplay.
No, there's not. There's no balance in the game at all.
Yeah.
Especially when like monsters can really gang up on you later in the game and then just destroy you. I mean, because like I liked that in the game that the monsters would be tougher than they are in most other RPGs, where you can just sit there and lazily grind. Whereas like in Dragon Quest, you have to like really pay attention because the monsters can actually do damage to you, like a significant amount. Yeah, like to begin with. But like in large numbers, like they appear in Dragon Quest 2, it is not okay. Like it is. I mean, I bitched about it with the slimes, but like there is no balance to that. You have like no damage output. You can like hit one and then destroy it, and then you get immediately hit with like 4 damage, which is a crazy amount when you have like 20 HP.
Yeah.
Like you immediately have to go back to the castle and get healed, which costs you money, and you only get like 3 gold from killing like 5 slimes, and it costs you like 5 gold to like stay at the inn. Like it's messed up. It is brutal balance, and it is not. There is like none in the game at all.
So basically the strategy when you have to grind is that you stay by a spot where you can heal.
Yeah, you have to stay by a spot where you can heal, or you have to make sure you get the Chimera Wing so you can like port back to town.
That's the only way in my version of the game that I could level up.
Yeah, dude, same for me. Like, you must have had it way easy, Jake, because like I was running into some sick stuff.
I guess naming my character Caleb Craig as the princess.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I name it Craigie or something like that for the princess.
I guess that's the key.
But I didn't have any of this
have
trouble.
Me somewhere in the game.
When I started getting trouble was the ice area near the end. I don't know about any of this having any troubles. But going back to the way that he designed the maps a specific way for each region, I recall not knowing that there was going to be a boss anywhere. We walk almost into the front of a town, and then you get hit with the golem.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, in the first game?
Oh, was the first one?
Yeah, you walk into after the bridge, you walk to a town, you get attacked by a gold golem.
Okay,
yeah, that thing was brutal.
The one that you have to like put to sleep with the flute.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's 1 and 2 as well. Whatever that is, I think that's cool because you don't know what's coming up. You don't have this sprite dancing there, and you could just get there and get nailed like that.
Oh, I also do like how in the first game, which they did a couple times, in this one, I think that where you can see the boss just like sitting there on the screen, because they don't necessarily do that a lot in certain games. But like for the green dragon just sitting there in the cave, like with the princess, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, my version wasn't capable of that, so
you didn't see
it
the
was
dragon?
random for me. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Like you can't see the boss, but you could in my version. So
yeah,
I guess screw you then. All right,
screw you guys.
So what is safe to say though is there was a high encounter rate with this game.
Oh
because it
definitely
was like every 3 squares for me.
Oh yeah, this is even a remake for you and I, and they did not like fix the balance at all. They were just like, you know what, fuck it, just fuck it. We'll just leave it the same.
Well,
and it'll suck.
Oh, we can go back to the Pokemon comparison. It's like the Zubats.
Oh, the Zubats in the cave.
Oh, yeah.
Literally every step there's a Zubat.
It's not every step,
dude. It's
like every 3 steps.
Yeah, it is 3. Not okay.
And it's pretty similar to this game. So if you don't like that, then you probably won't like the encounters in this game.
Yeah. Well, at least in this game, it was somewhat different monsters every time instead of always a Zubat.
Yeah, and we bring up Pokemon a lot because it draws a lot of influence from Dragon Quest. So
yeah, I did,
especially from like Dragon Quest V. We found out.
Yeah,
right. It wasn't until I've started playing these games because, like I said, I've only played 8. But going back to these early ones, I just see how Pokemon is completely.
I see a lot of games being influenced by the first Dragon Quest games.
Yeah.
But Pokemon's pretty close to me, so that's what comes first.
Dylan and I have like a lot of Pokemon experience, and also Jake and I and Dylan have a lot of Final Fantasies, so we just like all bring those 2 specific games in here.
Well, it's RPGs in general. And
RPGs in general,
gameplay
but like,
aspects.
Yeah.
We'll always draw comparisons.
It's true.
But, okay, one thing I do like, gameplay-wise, it does not hold your hand. It does not hold your hand on anything.
No,
You
it
gotta
doesn't even
find
really
this stuff.
tell you where you're supposed to go.
Right.
I feel like it makes a point to not hold your hand.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I think they
it took
designed
me a while to figure out where I was supposed to go right after he like lets you just out into the world.
Yeah, I think they designed it to make it tough like that, though.
Yeah.
I think it was to extend gameplay, mostly.
Yeah, I think it was too, because you have to because the first game you easily explore the entire map because it's kind of small.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it's like twice the size, so you have to and to extend gameplay along with forcing you to grind a crap load, they wanted you to not know where you're going to kind of help with that grind.
Yeah.
Or it can make it quicker. See, in my aspect,
To make it
unbeknownst
quicker,
to me,
you just make the
is
balance
I
right.
went, no,
Tell them what to do, and then it would be a much better game.
agreed. But if you go to an area that's completely going to wipe you out and you start grinding there, it makes the other half just go by in a snap, and you ain't got to worry about those things. You could just
If you can
cruise right.
survive in that area, sure.
Somehow I did. I don't remember. It was like the southern part of the map, like southern west part of the map. And this will
okay.
go into a nightmare story I'll tell right after this. I went there and I started grinding early. I didn't know that this was going to be this far ahead in the game. But I started grinding out levels like that. Just boom, 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 25, 30, 35, like that.
Wow.
I keep going down south to this town. I can't remember the name of the town. But I go, okay, I need a rest, right? I'm just going
So
go
you
to
go
sleep.
to the inn?
I go to the inn.
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
Right. And so I wake up, and the prince, I don't call him a prince because he's a peon, gets poisoned. He completely gets poisoned. And I'm like, what is this? No. What am I supposed to do? So here I am going to every continent now trying to figure out what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I did this completely without a guide. Yeah. So eventually I figure out to go grab the leaf and go bring it back and heal him.
Oh, what a waste of
And-
that item, though. Such a valuable item.
Yeah, you can go back and get another one, I think.
Yeah, you can, but it's a pain.
Yeah, everything in that game is a pain.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
So, it just frustrated me because here I am at this level getting this done, and I'm looking at all these other places, and when I get to them in the game, figuring this is what I got to do next, I'm just wiping the floor with everything.
I guess that's what made it easy for you, but it was not that way for me.
Going from area
Like,
to area.
Yeah, dude, I remember asking you where I was supposed to go because I went up into the left where there was a cave over there, and I thought that's where I was supposed to go because they told me to kind of go find the other prince. So I was like, okay, did he go over in this cave? So I go in the cave, and there's I can manage the fights, but they are way higher level than me. They're dealing some serious damage. And I was like, how is this where I'm supposed to go? This is such a huge spike in difficulty.
Is that the cave with the old man?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right at the beginning of the game, too.
Yeah.
And it's brutal.
It's right there. And it's not where you're supposed to go, but I thought it was.
Yeah, and it's not that obvious, what you're supposed to do in that cave.
Yeah. You're supposed to go the opposite direction, but I was like, what? I don't understand this. That it just you can have this obvious cave, or you can go the other direction, and then that'll just be where you're supposed to go. The obvious cave was the where I thought the prince was gonna go, because it's just right there,
Yeah.
and that's where usually everything starts. You just got to go to a cave.
Yeah, that was not the case for this one. You had to go quite a ways north.
Yeah, the first game starts with you going into a cave.
Yeah, that's true.
Second game, no, you don't go to the cave for a while. Yeah, dude. I didn't mind necessarily that it doesn't hold your hand, but at the same time, a little more information at least would have been fine. Because the first game doesn't really
does
hold your
that.
hand either, but it tells you, it gives you enough information that you know what you're supposed to be doing at all times.
Is it that, or is it that there's not nowhere else to go?
What do you mean?
The map is severely downsized. There isn't much for you to go to and move to, that it's an easy process of elimination.
Well, at the beginning,
And
that's
it's not
true.
to try and take away from the first game, but you open up a map a little bit more, that's what could end up happening.
The problem, though, is that when you get the ship in the second one, it's not clear where you go.
Yeah,
okay.
it's not.
Yeah.
Nothing is clear in that game. Like, there's not, because I mean, they don't give you that much information for the first game. They're like, oh, you have to go find this item to repair the bridge, or you have to go find the flute to
Rainbow Bridge.
And then another one is like, you have
Rainbow in
to
the
get this flute
bridge.
to.
It's not there in the second one.
You need this flute to put
I know,
this monster to
sad.
sleep, and then you're like, what fucking monster? And then you go to that town, and then you're jumped by the golem that you need to use the flute on, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, wait, you mean a Snorlax? Oh, wait, no, it's not just
Oh,
Snorlax.
maybe that part was influenced. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, dude, like that.
That's true.
Yeah. I did.
I
but
just realized that. That's pretty a pretty big influence.
Did you come up with an original idea on your own?
no.
Yeah, it's making me think maybe they didn't.
But yeah, I don't know, dude. Like they could have had more information. Is all I'm saying. Because like there's no way you're gonna know what you're supposed to do. Like even with that information of like you need to use the flute on this monster.
I think they
Like,
could have given
what monster? Where is the
better
monster?
hints.
Yeah,
Because
like,
the hints were pretty vague.
Yeah, they were like, go find the prince.
Okay.
Where is the prince? You want to give
find the princess.
me want to give me
The
a
princess-
direction at least?
The
Yeah.
princess is in town.
I don't know how
Where?
you guys did it
What?
without a guide. I had to use a guide. I'll
Dude.
admit it. I used a guide.
I don't know, dude. I had to look up a guide for certain weapons, like if I could find better ones.
Yeah.
Which is how I found out about the awesome item one.
The thunder one.
Yeah, the thunder spell one, which was amazing. But other than that, like, dude, it was just wandering, trying to find, and that's how I got most of my levels. Just
Yeah.
like trying to grind out and survive.
Right. All right. So I had a huge problem with this, and I'm pretty sure Dylan can go off on a rant on this.
We'll
the
see.
inventory space.
Right.
What inventory space?
Exactly. Non-existent.
There's just you get like 15 slots or something for
Yeah.
every item, including the key items, and you have to choose who holds what.
This was a problem in the first one with the item spaces, but you'd think they would improve it with 3 characters.
Yeah,
but they
you'd
didn't.
think.
There were more key items in this one.
Oh, way more key items.
Yeah.
Like there was probably like what 4 key items in the first game. There's like 20 in this game.
Yeah, just
stuff
the
that
keys.
has to take up the slots. So you basically have one who's the bitch character who has to carry them all.
Yeah.
It's like in Pokemon where you have to like load up one Pokemon with all the HMs.
The HM slave.
Yeah, dude, like that. It's the same thing.
it
You
is.
just have one character who
But
you're like, we're just gonna load you
Charizard
up.
cannot learn fly. I mean,
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know, dude.
But
Nidoking can learn surf.
In the new one, he can fly.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
he
got
can.
rid of HMs for this one, for this
Yeah,
new one.
I thought that was
And
weird.
Charizard flies year round. Yeah,
It's great.
about time.
it's tremendous. Yeah, the inventory space was a problem for me. I had to keep switching things out, and there isn't exactly a drop feature in this game. Like, oh, here, drop the item that you don't want anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to like use it. Or
Some
sell
items
it.
can't be used.
Yeah, or you have to sell it, and you can't sell the key items. So
It just completely scales it down.
yeah, I mean, I like they kept the idea of a certain capped inventory space for like the other Dragon Quest games because I know they do from like playing 8.
Yeah.
But in this game, there is like no management of it whatsoever. It is just poor, like poor as crap. It is so bad. Like so literally every character only gets like 15 slots, and you have to have every like the one character carry every key item. And it was the princess for me because she could just heal.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to use like items.
Right.
So the other guys would have to have the items. And like it even counts like equipment that you don't have currently equipped, and that is poor.
It is.
Poor inventory management is a horrible part of this gameplay. And especially since I had to like flip around like in my inventory to find my sword to use it as an item. Which,
Right, it wasn't at the front.
Yeah, it was like
So
down
every
there.
time you got to get the sequence right, just so that you could speed it. Like down, over.
Yeah,
use
you have
it.
to,
down,
like, know.
over. Use it.
And then
like a cheat code.
Yeah, and then because like the phone, I don't know if you had this problem, but like for the mobile version, like I had to do it with the first game too, but like if you press like right above the thing that you're trying to press, like it presses like in the middle of it. So like okay, that's kind of a poor explanation. So like the where you press for like your fingers, where you press the buttons, where it actually presses the button is about like a quarter of an inch down from wherever you hit.
I don't know if it's a quarter of an inch, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's
maybe an eighth or so. It's not that off.
It's smaller, but like you have to like that was really annoying for like the menu stuff because you'd always be hitting the wrong item all the time. And
for me, it was when I was moving. Actually,
well, for the moving, it wasn't too bad because you can like hold where you're walking with like the little control stick thing. But like when you're actually tapping on the stuff, it's super annoying. That's a thing that you would think they would fix. I mean, this is a game that millions of people have probably downloaded from the Google Play Store. I don't know.
That's a lot of disappointed
thousands of people. Okay,
this game isn't
thousands.
free.
And it was practically free. I got it for like $1. Anyway, you should fix it. Is all I'm saying. It's a big game. You ported most of them to the mobile, and you're going to have a problem that's that glaring on a mobile platform. That's not a good thing.
And it can also still be fixed. Like they can patch that.
They can patch it easily, and they don't. I had that problem in the first one, and the spoiler in the third one. I don't. It's like I haven't bought the fourth one yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the fourth one too. If I'm having the first three be like this.
Spoiler alert! I'm going to finally utilize my DS, my 3DS.
Yeah, me too.
For that, there's no way.
You can borrow my copy, Craig, if you need it.
Oh, we're going to utilize your
maybe.
4, 5, and 6 collection because Dylan is a boss. He went out and bought these. Brand new.
Yeah, they're sealed.
Brand new?
Yeah.
Damn.
It pains me to have to open them, but it's for the show.
Just buy a secondary copy.
That's not a thing for me. That's not possible. Not with the price that I paid.
How much were they?
I paid $100 for sealed copies.
Oh, for all three?
4, 5, and 6. And
For all three or each?
All three.
Okay.
So I got to steal.
That's not, yeah. It's like if it was each, I'd be like, probably sell those and get...
Moron!
I'd be like, sell those and get like different ones.
Right. Anybody got any other nightmare stories before I tell another one?
I can tell you about my experience with the inventory space, like how that's designed.
Go ahead.
So there's this cave. It's the Cave of Roan. It's like right before the last area in the game. Anyway, that's a huge, huge pain to get through. And I did it. And then I got to the last castle. And there's this illusion that you need to break with a certain charm.
Yes.
And I stopped to get that charm earlier. And I made it all the way to the castle.
Right.
Opened up my inventory.
Right.
Went through. And the charm wasn't there. So, my inventory space was completely full. And
so it had just dropped the item?
It would not allow me to pick up the charm. But the thing about that is that it didn't tell me.
Oh, it didn't even tell you, dude.
No,
I don't think it tells me when like my inventory is full. I don't even remember that. Like I was managing that thing the entire time because I knew how small it was.
Yeah, this is something I went off in the deleted episode. I went off on this, but the rage just isn't quite as much this time. It's still there. It lingers, but it's not as much. So in order to break this illusion, I had to
Break the chain.
go all the way back through the cave, through the hardest part in the game.
But you'd be leveled.
Yeah, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, you gained what, like 1 level?
Yeah, basically 1 level. I would just run away.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So I had to go all the way back. And then I had to go through the cave again and run away from everything. It added like 4 hours to my gameplay.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts thinking about that.
And, well, all because of this flaw in design.
Okay. This is just me thinking about it. You probably didn't think of it in time when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just get yourself killed and go back to where you were?
Actually, I think I did warp back.
Okay.
But I had to actually travel back through the cave.
Track back through it. Yeah. But
that
as
was
far
a
as,
huge pain.
like any backtracking that's necessary, I don't think it's like you could always warp and then go forward.
Yeah, that's one mechanic that I really liked because it saved me some time. But still, going back through that cave, that was like an extra 4 hours.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah, and the enemies in that cave, they can kill you in like 2 hits.
Yeah, and there's like swarms of them.
So if you miss the chance to run away, they're probably going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty brutal.
And like, this seems like a really easy thing they could have programmed in. Like, just some simple thing to indicate that my inventory was full.
Or maybe a little bit more inventory space.
Or just have key items never take up inventory space, period.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because every FF I've known has no problem doing that and implementing it
I think
well.
it's because they count it as a separate item and it goes in its own thing. But, like, I don't know if they were able to do that early.
Fair point.
That's probably why they had the inventory system that they had. But, I mean, for at least you and I, it's still a remake. They could have just,
still,
like...
yeah,
because it's not a
fucked.
port, it is a remake. And they could have, like... They could have fixed it. But they didn't.
Nope. No, they didn't. All right, well...
It's sad.
My nightmare story now is paled in comparison to Dylan's then.
Yeah, sorry to steal your thunder.
Oh, what thunder?
Which I also have
right.
something to say about the thunder weapon.
Oh, yeah? The one that you didn't get?
Yeah, the one that I didn't get because of the stupid inventory space. Once again.
Oh, yeah, because you killed the monster that drops it, and then because you had the full inventory.
Yeah, it wouldn't give me
exchange.
It would give me the weapon.
Oh, that's sad, because that thing was like at least, I think, 30 or 40 points above whatever you possibly had.
Yeah, it made my gameplay significantly harder, not having that weapon.
That thing
But
was
how is it
amazing.
harder? Wouldn't it be like the same? Because if you don't have a plus, doesn't mean you have a negative?
I think the better
if
weapon
there
would have
is a
helped.
plus.
Then it's in the plus minus 0 thing, right?
I think it would have helped.
Right. All right.
Put
so
simply.
It would have helped.
there is a part in this game where you're going basically across a tower roof over to the other side.
Yeah.
You have a wind glider to go into it.
Okay, yeah.
And this cave to lead up to the tower has got holes in it for you to fall through the map. Now, this is kind of my own fault, and I can't blame it on the game. I'm playing this thing outside in the sun on my phone. I cannot see any block, any movement on this thing. So I am trying to navigate my way up the tower, and I keep falling off the tower like 12 times in a row. And I am done. Ugh.
Why didn't you figure out the pattern?
I damn nearly did. And that we all know where that tower is like 5 levels.
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit of memorizing. Nobody memorizes the damn cave with the Zubats leading into Misty's city.
I actually did.
Ah,
Oh, where
Dude,
it's dark?
Dude, I didn't have
whatever. Liar.
I didn't have Flash, and I did the thing where you like stick to the right the entire time. And
I do that too,
and I found the ladder.
I do too. It's not worth it to have that HM on any of your Pokemon because once it learns it can unlearn it.
Yeah, it is brutal and it is completely unnecessary.
It's just for that one part.
Yeah.
So just do it in the dark.
Anyway, I kept falling off the tower and it pissed me off. I go home. It's dark. Nighttime. Nephew's finally asleep. I boot up my phone and I can finally see the map and I'm like, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Maybe don't play in the light or turn up your back screen.
I tried. It still was like I was getting glare and it wasn't happening. Even the 3DS has glare and the PSP is the worst one of all with that.
With the glare?
With the glare. All game system outside
have a huge, bright backlight like it should.
Yeah, they're all don't ever play outside in the sun unless it's during the eclipse. I actually got to see the screen during the eclipse, which was weird, but
the eclipse.
Yes, instead of seeing the eclipse, Joe of Ultima Final Fantasy.
Definitely can't hear.
Yes, exactly.
That nobody can hear.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
just like
can
he's
hear.
talking to himself.
Yep. All right. So, we going to move on to design?
Yep.
All right. So, design, gentlemen. What do you fucking think of this thing?
Dude, I don't know, because I feel like it's a lesser quality than the first game in every pretty much aspect of the game. But the design outside of like the map, I thought was okay. I thought the map was fine, and then being able to like actually get a ship was pretty sweet. But like the monsters are so poor in this one. I feel bad for Akira Toriyama, honestly, for this one, because
How do you feel bad? He chose them.
I know he chose them, but like he designed the same like 26 monsters, and then they used them like 52 different times, just coloring like one thing different. Like that's that's the entirety of the game. Like most of the monsters are the same monster, just colored different.
Yeah.
And then like I said before, there was like 6 monsters that are in the fucking robes that have the Batman symbol on the chest. And then that's the monster.
On top of that, you're going to see those guys a million times.
Yeah, you're going to see them a million times because they're also different colored a million times. So there's like seeing the monsters is a grind in of itself because like you have to see them so often. There's like not a lot of variety. At least the first game was short enough to like make that okay. Like they did you recolor a couple of them, but like it was not as obvious as this game.
Yeah, that's true.
And this game was way bigger and way grindier, so you have to you notice every single one. Like there's like no difference in those like few monsters, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
And they did away with my favorite designs from the last game. There were no dragons.
Oh, no green dragon.
They didn't have the green dragon, which was awesome. I love the green dragon design.
Maybe they're all extinct because of Erdrick.
The only ones that I really liked was they kept the knight errants and the golems and stuff, but everything else just. The Drakis were all the same. The slimes were all the same.
Golem was the same, so I can't
Golem
give it a
was
compliment.
Golem was fine, but it's still they recolored that one 3 times instead of the gray and the gold one they had in the first one.
It was even a boss in the last area.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I like his designs a lot, but this one there was too little for what the game was offering.
Right. So I won't quickly put it on Toriyama because I don't know specifically the details on that.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe they
either.
only told him do 20 creatures. And then they just
and then they recolor it themselves. Yeah, I get that that's probably the thing, but that's still they only asked him to do 20 monsters for a game that they made this big.
Yeah, it's their own bad oversight.
That's another problem from what you said in the development, how they weren't really they had separate teams working on this, and like if you have separate teams working on how many monsters are gonna be versus like the dudes actually making how big the game is gonna be, like you have to have correlating numbers here, and it just does not fit at all. It's missing like at least half the creatures that it should have. And it doesn't even have like all the ones from the first game either. They like had a bunch of new ones that they just recolored 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, honestly.
My sentiments exactly. I can't say anything else. You said it out perfectly well.
I agree with you.
Yeah. It hurts.
Yeah. All right, music. Interesting note on music. One Lonely Boy. Don't ask me why it's called that. The background music of the game's name and password input interface is a single by Anna Makino. Since the original Dragon Quest opened with the pop song, Sugiyama decided to use the song to make it the game's stylistically connected. The music is also used for Japan's professional baseball team, Chiba Lotte Mariners fight song.
They used the Dragon Quest password theme?
Pretty much, but it's called One Lonely Boy.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Dragon Quest main theme is the national anthem to them, so
I like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool idea. I mean, I don't really have anything against the music in this game. It wasn't, I don't know.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't have any problems with it. There's not too much of it, where it's like repeating. I didn't feel that at all. I don't know. They reuse a lot of the themes that were in the first one as well. So
there's a couple, but not a lot.
Well, I mean,
because there's not a lot to copy from.
Yeah, there's not a lot. Like the first game had 5 songs, but I mean,
yeah, and this one has 15, 16 maybe.
Huh.
Yeah. Which is
I thought
quite
it was
a
way
lot.
less.
Yeah, so I don't know. It has a good amount of music for it. I can't really pick out any of the songs other than the main theme that Dragon Quest always uses, but
at the same time there wasn't anything for me either that I just went, "Oh, my ears." It's solid. It's there what it is. It doesn't elevate, but it doesn't put it down.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is how you feel about the NES soundtrack.
I ended up turning the sound off.
Oh.
It's not that the music was bad, it's just that it was repetitive.
Right.
Everything sounded similar.
I had to turn this music down a couple times on mine too, but that's because I was playing at work. So,
I personally, before recording this, went back and listened to the NES Nintendo, and it's good. But I could see with the high tune chips for 8-bit style music, how your grind, you would want to turn that thing off too.
Yeah.
Because I could not stand listening to that or any of that kind of thing on hours on end.
Which hours on end is what this game is.
Yeah, any RPG from NES era would just be horrible.
I don't know. I never had a problem with the NES Zelda music. I always thought that was good.
Even if it's on repeat?
Even if it was on repeat, I just didn't mind it. I liked it.
Like the dungeon
Zelda,
theme just annoys me.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
The dungeon music is...
But the overworld...
the overworld and other stuff is fine, because it also changes depending on certain areas.
It does.
So, it's fine. But the dungeon music is always the same. It's always that repetition. So, but that's Zelda, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, the music, nothing really stands out, but then again, nothing stands out. So it's fine. It's, I don't know how else to say it other than it's fine.
I think it has a lot to do with when the game came out.
Yeah.
So there's not too much they could have actually done with it.
And probably Jake's and mine was better just because it's still, remake. They did make it more 8-bit still. But not as the high pitched tones that it would be on on the NES version.
Balanced on a decibel type level, and that's squealing or nothing.
It's more like actual music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not symphony, but yeah. Legacy. Oh boy. The Famicom version sold approximately 2.4 million copies in Japan.
Sweet.
It outsold Dragon Quest 1.
No way. You mean the thing that didn't sell at all?
Yeah. Well, it sold very well in Japan. It's just when it came here stateside that it changed.
Well, yeah, they needed to put it in the Nintendo Power.
Those are the U.S. numbers, or those are the Japanese numbers?
Japanese numbers.
Okay.
I don't have official numbers for English. But
for the English, it'd probably be like a tenth of that.
That's pretty impressive, though, because it was a pretty big deal over there.
Especially for the year, too. Dragon Quest II received both critical and financial success in Japan. In 2006, readers of Famitsu, love that place,
Famitsu
magazine voted the game the 17th best video game of all time.
When?
2006. I want to know a correlation between Famitsu and the amount of drugs that they smoked. Because
they put it above 1?
I don't have it if they put
3?
it above 1. We don't know that.
Well, it would.
But the fact that it's up that
been
high on the list. No, I think Dragon Quest 1's high up on their list too. But regardless,
both of them were on there.
There's 2 Dragon Quest games in the top 10 of the
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which ones they are.
I was
There's
gonna,
at least 2. I remember it was like Final
1 and
Fantasy
3.
and Dragon Quest, like almost.
at least 2. Okay, because like
Yeah.
I was gonna be pissed there if it
Their
was.
lists suck.
Yeah. Obviously, if
fake news.
if 2 is on there, just in general, it's a shitty list.
Right,
Yeah.
16th.
That's disappointing. Like 2006, there was a lot of good games out.
Yeah, there's
By then,
a lot
yeah.
of good games out by then, and Dragon Quest 2 is not one of them. I mean, it was fine, and yeah, it's got influence over like a lot of games, but especially as like a series, but like it is not better than the first one by any means.
No.
Like, even with the party system, they implemented it poorly. Like with the inventory system being as bad as it is, like even 1, there's not that many problems with it. I mean, you still can get overstocked, but at least it's like, hey, you need to get this key item. You know, it's like it at least tells you stuff.
If I wasn't doing this podcast, I would have quit the game there. Like that's such a huge flaw.
Yeah, it is. That second game, honestly, the only thing that I really enjoyed about the second game was like the huge world that it had for how early it was, and then the ability to use weapons as items. Like that was really, really cool to me, and it's something that like I would like to see in more stuff, especially as like turn-based RPGs that I never see anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's an inventive level that's just not around.
Yeah, I think this list is a good list for 1987. Like 16th on 1987
What
standards. I think
was
I could
out by
maybe
87?
give it that.
What was out by
I could probably
87?
name
Because
like
like
15 PC games before then that are still better than this.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty limited on games from that time period.
It's before my time too, but it's
Yeah.
we
just-
got like Jumpman, Donkey
oh yeah, we could just go off all the Nintendo's backlog.
Pong.
Pong's good stuff.
Yeah, Pong's great. It's better
Come
than
on.
Dragon Quest 2.
FF1 came out approximately.
All right, let's see. Dragon
2 or
Quest
3
2,
months-
Final
2 or 3
Fantasy
months
1.
after Dragon Quest 2's release.
Scales of justice here. I don't know.
FF1 is obviously better than Dragon Quest 2.
I've never played one, and I would give it to 1.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it's better. But it's not better than Dragon Quest 1.
Agreed. No, I completely agreed. So, any final thoughts on this before we rank it?
rank it. I think everybody already kind of knows what the rank's gonna be.
Yeah, I would say that this is a must skip.
Yeah,
in the series.
like in this. Yeah, if it's going definitely by the series, you can just skip it.
Yeah, you're not missing out.
I mean, it's an interesting game. It has like stuff to offer, but it's not outweighed by how bad it is. So,
well, after spending some time in 3, spoilers here, you can skip 2.
yeah, it's the last one in the chronological order anyway.
Yeah, and it's not like the stories are that closely tied.
No, it's just like 100 years difference or whatever between each of them. So
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
This didn't specifically happen in just 2 because 1 did it as well. I found that this was kind of unique because I played quite a few RPGs, but after you beat the final boss, it just doesn't go straight to cutscenes or credits.
Oh, that's true.
What I like is post-game, you can go everywhere and go talk to people and actually have something different to say.
Yeah, before you get
because
to the
they
end.
like recognize that you beat the dragon or like beat the boss or whatever.
Yeah, and all the areas that are like poisoned or completely gone. There's flowers and shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I
Before you go
like-
talk to the king.
I like that a lot too. You can like see the results of like what you did before like you actually end the game, and that is actually really cool. Still though,
Well, it doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, there's only a handful of things that you'd like even play the game for, and like it's a suffrage, to be honest.
Suffrage.
Like you don't want to
Suffragettes.
That sounds like a good episode title.
suffrage.
The suffrage.
But I don't have anything else to offer other than Dragon Quest 1 is better by far than Dragon Quest 2.
Oh, that's your official ranking there, Craig.
That is the ranking. 2 is on the bottom, and I hope that nothing replaces it.
Oh yeah, we don't want to. We want to go up from here.
I feel like I've played the worst one, and I've had it, and now it's behind me. And I don't ever want anything to come up again.
It was
It's
an
like that.
ordeal.
It was an ordeal.
If it's a bottom, hopefully it's a power bottom. All right, Dylan, where do you rank it?
No.
Yeah, it's on the bottom for me as well.
Agreed. There's just no comparison. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's sad, but that's just how it is.
I know. Honestly, I was hoping for more, considering that it has like a lot going for it.
It has
like
a lot of potential.
It has the story that could have been better with like the dragon or the Dragon Lord's grandson. It has like the weapons and items thing. It has like the ship that was really cool, going back to Elfgard.
The grand scale of everything.
Yeah, like
considering
the grand...
it's like a month or 2 before release, they just say, all right, we're going to just expand this thing times 3, maybe times 4, all on an NES card.
How soon was this one after the first one?
They started developing it 3 months before it came out.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and they usually release those things like a month after they're done.
Yeah, I feel like that had a lot to do with the issues of the game. I just feel like it was really rushed.
Agreed. But the scale is impressive for the time, to me.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
agree.
the only saving grace. So
Yeah,
skip it, guys.
It's impressive
Unless-
for like its time, but other than that, it's a downer.
It doesn't hold up.
No, it doesn't hold up at all.
It doesn't even hold up like a couple of years after it came out.
No. Like it gets easily replaced. I mean, Final Fantasy, the first one came out.
There you go.
Like
and it's
like,
just
at the
a-
same time.
blip on the radar.
Sad.
So
Sad,
unless you're a
really.
completionist and want to play this sadistic game along with us, well, can't along with us anymore.
Nope.
But just skip it unless you're just a connoisseur for pain
it's-
and
okay.
suffering in your life.
If you're looking for a mobile game, because we did play it on our phones, like if you're looking for a mobile game that's not like a massive like MMO thing like they usually have become for mobile games,
Brave
then
Exvius.
sure, pick it up because it's like $3.
No, just 1 and 3, and then do something like Fantasy Star or
Well, yeah,
Final Fantasy.
Fantasy Star 2 is on the Google Play Store, which is cool. But like that, I mean, you could still play it. I mean, it's super grind heavy in that, like, it's something that I enjoyed about the first one is that I could just play it on my phone, and it was like a perfect mobile game because of how grindy it was. And I didn't really feel the grind as much because like I could do it over time, little bits at a time with my phone, you know. So in a way you probably wouldn't feel it as much, but it's still not a fun game.
No, I will not recommend it, even mobile.
Yeah, I didn't play it on mobile, and it sucked. It was a crappy experience, and hopefully you take our advice and skip it.
Yeah.
All right, I think that'll wrap us up for this episode, gentlemen.
Well, actually,
What?
we should talk about what we're going to be playing in case our listeners do want to play along with us.
Okay, next episode should be Dragon Quest III's review. Where's everybody at?
I'm done.
I'm done as well.
I just have a couple more things to grab, and I'll be done.
Yeah, you're right there at the
Also-
boss, basically.
No, not quite.
A few hours away from the
I'm
boss.
a few hours away,
Oh, okay.
but I'll be done soon.
And then after that, I believe we're moving on to Dragon Quest Builders, is what we agreed on.
Yes, you said it was the same universe.
It is in the same like plane of existence as the original trilogy.
So that's how we're going to justify
That's a
playing this one.
small
I don't, dude. I have
justification.
I have no idea. Like exact. It has. It. You go to the same towns basically. You build up the same towns as that were in the first 3 games. Is basically what happens.
Okay.
And there's like 7 towns. I mean.
No, I
That's
see.
like
scale.
that's basically the only like. I mean, there's Rimmelsdur and like you know like the other like the towns. You know that we're in
Mike Mumbledore. What?
Rimmelsdur. You remember that town?
Yes, just the way you're pronouncing it. And like,
Is that not how you say that word?
I don't know, but
Okay, well, whatever. It's in the same universe, so yes, we're like it's the next thing basically.
okay.
That's and then we'll move on to 4 after.
Start the next trilogy.
Yep, 4, 5, and 6. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
Will be.
I'm excited for it. Should be good.
It's supposed to be the heart of the series.
Is it?
That's what I've been told by a lot of people.
Well, I know 5 is really influential for like Pokemon and a lot of those other monster capture games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'll like that one.
That one should be fun.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Sign offs
In a while.
in a while.
In a while.
Get it done, Dylan.
All right, we'll see.
All right.
Sign offs, huh?
Yeah. Do you got any?
I don't got any. Quest on.
Quest on.
Quest on. Tweet me at Obsidian Bar.
What?
That is my sign off. Go on.
And spread the puff puff love.